Hi guys, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach. I'm back. It's Friday, the 26th of January. It's currently 8:44 a.m. and just thought I would start doing a few videos again for the members channel and just start video recording the trades that we're taking and with a bit of analysis and stuff like that. So I've got a short on the euro dollar this morning. And we got in just around about here, so it's had this fairly strong flurry up since then, and have now just started to come off. So just going through the analysis of the trade, if we look on the daily charts, we've had this tremendous run up with the euro, mainly because of this dollar weakness. However, the one concern that we have got is this trend line running across the top here. So if we look at these highs, we can see that we've on the monthly charts we've now tested and gone through some of these key moving average, and this one yesterday, which was taken out, is this 100 period moving average, the black line here, but we have got this trend line running across here. So there is a chance that the market wants to, touch this trend line now. Is it going to do it on this run up, or is this kind of going to come to a standstill and start rolling back over a bit for it to then push back up at a later date? Or is it going to just keep going and make the test of this trend line today or early part of next week? And that is the dilemma, because we're overbought on a lot of indicators on the euro, and there is the possibility that it can roll over. We've had this this candle put in yesterday, which we can see here with a very bearish candle. So is there the possibility now that this move now does continue to roll over and we see some downward retraction? Potentially we could see this moving average, which hasn't been tested for a while, this 200 period moving average rolling up. So we could see the market coming down, potentially contact with that 200 period moving average, maybe over here somewhere. And then we could then see it rolling back up to come up and test this trend line. Or it could just go up today. Now, the reason it could just go up today is because the nature of this this bar here means that loads of people will be getting in short. The price action yesterday afternoon, there was a strong seller for this 4-hour candle, so there'll be loads of shorts, loads of stops above here, and as always the market will potentially want to take them out, as it did yesterday. It took out loads of stops yesterday around the 125 area when it went through, triggered those up here somewhere. So that's the caution. So what my plan is with this trade is to see how this 4-hour bar closes out now. This next 4-hour bar now, this particular brokerage 4-hour bars start and close it. So this one's just closed at 8 a.m. But some other brokers, so I've got other charts where it'll close at 10 a.m. But either way, what we're looking for in the next couple of hours is this to come off and hold down. If it does, then there's potential for this downside move to continue. However, if it does hold up here, then there's potential that we could get this break up and this break continuation of this break higher. So the plan is to sit and watch and sit in this trade for a while. However, as normal, my indicator, when this starts to get oversold, if I've got a unit in profit or an entry in profit, I will look to take half of that profit off the table, just leaving the second half on. So when this gets oversold, and then potentially I'll manage to stop, etc. So that's the trade and the analysis, but as I say, some huge moves on with regards to the dollar related pairs. So we've seen pound make 3 or 4 year highs. It's been up as high as It's been up as high as around the 143. I was 143.40. So again, that's put in this bearish candle yesterday, but could that be just a matter of taking stops out? We have now tested this 50-period moving average on the monthly chart, which is downwards facing, so that is going to provide us with resistance. So again, this could be the point where this now does start to roll over. If that is the case and this starts to roll over, then it will be the short side that we'll be looking to take over the course of the next few weeks mainly, and that would be predominantly the short side, and we'd be looking for moves down on the pound. I'd be looking to move down, back down to this sort of level here where we've got previous support and resistance levels here. And we've also got this price envelope scooping up and these moving averages scooping up. So I could see us getting back down to 137, around that sort of zone. So that would be what I'm looking at on there with regards to day trading and stuff. With the euro, again just picking some levels. With the euro looking down initially for us to get down to back down to sort of 121s, something like that, 121s down here somewhere, and then potentially if it does close down there it could get a bounce back up before then continuing a move lower. So that's just the initial move over the course of the next week or so. If it does start to roll over down to that sort of area, then we could see some bounces back up. I don't know to what level they might come, but ultimately I could see us getting back down to on the euro at least, back down to these sort of levels at some point. Strong levels of support and resistance down there. 115, 116. You've got these moving averages are going to be coming up, so potentially 117, around that sort of zone it could pull back to. But ultimately, the longer term trend, we do look like we are going to get test of this trend line, a pullback, and then some sort of push through, and ultimately over the course of the next year, 2 years potentially, it does look like we're going to get some euro strength and some dollar weakness, which ties in with what we're seeing. They're talking about tapering of the easing with regards to the euro, etc. Draghi was speaking yesterday. So when they do start this tapering, then what we will find is that in theory that's going to be the euro strength, but usually by that point it would have already been priced in. It's always a matter of, buy the rumour, sell the fact, etc. And that's what we saw with the dollar, all the hype around the raising of interest rates, and then as soon as they've started to raise interest rates around this level, we've then seen the dollar weakness. So all of this was priced in the fact that they're going to be putting the dollar interest rates up, and then as soon as they have, the dollar's started to get weaker. So I think it would be the same thing with the euro. Potentially that is still a year away with regards to the euro. And I think they mentioned yesterday, September, but it could be extended. So that would put us the back end of the year here, around this zone, which kind of ties in quite nicely with the break of this trend line and a push higher. We could potentially be as high as back up to 137, up this sort of zone by then. So that's a longer term view anyway. I just thought I'd go through that analysis, and we will watch this trade and see how we get on with it. Okay, I've just taken off the second entry on this euro dollar because we're oversold on the 5 minutes now. It's got the possibility to keep coming down, obviously. and it may just be working its way down, as we can see on sort of the 30-minute chart. But there's still this risk of this high being taken out, so as a result of that, I just thought it's best just to play safe and just take off that second entry and just stick with the first entry. Because as I say, this could just be the higher low for this trend to continue, this sort of trend from here that we've seen today. Okay, just back, and I've actually closed out the second part of this, or the first entry of this euro dollar short, because I mean it's had a fairly strong close on the 4 hour up here, and it's still got this potential to take out these highs. So I've always got that in the back of my mind with this trend line coming across, and it got oversold on my indicator anyway, on my oscillator, and you know, based on my trading criteria, that's my sort of exit criteria, unless it's massively in profit and I want to run it and move the stop down. But I couldn't do that on this trade because the entry was over here, and it meant that because we had this further push higher, it wasn't a great entry. So that's where we're at. What I'm going to do is I will look for more short opportunities. I'm not going to get long. I just can't get long at this level because it's just too high for me to get long at. But I will look for other opportunities to get short. If we do come down and then sort of have a pullback and push higher, then I will look to get another short. So I closed out both of those in profit, albeit a small profit, but I think it was the right thing to do. And that's not to say it's not going to go and roll over and just keep going, which it can. You know, I'd like to see it come down and hit this 50-period moving average, but the entry just wasn't good enough for me there because I missed this high here, and I took the entry there. If we had gotten up there, it would have been a totally different story, because then I could have taken half the trade off, moved the stop down to sort of these highs, and effectively been in a risk-free trade then, which would have been the perfect setup to run it down. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. You can't always get them all right. So if it does push up and then start to look like it could roll over again, then I will look to take an additional short trade on, but we'll wait and see. Hi guys, now back, and it is just coming up to 5 o'clock now. There's not been a lot go on this today, to be honest. There's not been a lot of volatility. We've seen this euro dollar, it has ground lower today, and I was looking for this extra entry after we got out of the previous one, but the push up that I was looking for, it never quite came off, and unfortunately it didn't push up quite high enough in order to get the short. However, it has been a grind lower, but there's still that risk in the back of my mind, and that was what was putting me off with regards to this trend line on the euro dollar going across the highs up here somewhere. Where, you know, it could be one of those things where the market's just letting positions build up. I had a look on IG index, and they've got something like 70% of traders are now short again on the euro, and this has just been taking stops out constantly, this euro and this dollar weakness. So it's hard to call the top, and we've got some interesting price actions and bars. We'll have to see how this one closes today. You know, it could close down here, but if it does, then, you know, potentially we are going to get this pullback. But it's always in the back of my mind that we've got this trend line up here. We're going to have stops up there, so it would be always the risk of that pushing up further. So just going to trade it with caution at the moment, and go from there. So it's been a fairly quiet day trading. There's been a few profitable trades. I'll just pull a screen grab of my close positions for today. So I had a couple of Aussie dollar shorts this morning but that was just sort of separate trades. As always, with the signal service, I'm always erring on the side of caution, so I won't always send out all the positions that I'm taking because of the risk at the end of the day. I'm always going to protect people that potentially are following trades that I'm posting out. So we had the euro dollar short, and I think the original looks like I think there was 3 entries actually. One of them I did take a bit off, but I think the two main positions that I put in were just basically just a bit above break even, but I've closed out a bit there today, and but to be honest, it's been a very slow day, so hopefully next week we'll start to get some volatility back. Trading's been really difficult because we have had this sort of long drawn out run with this dollar weakness, and often when you find that, you get limited sort of mean reversion and a limited number of opportunities to either get in with the trend or get in counter trend, and it does kind of restrict the trading opportunities. So I'm going to call it a day now with regards to this video and wrap it up here. So I hope you've had a good day's trading, and I'll be back next week.